right? So if we wanted to, we could clear the magazine totally. Hello, my dear friends, and welcome to Hole. Hole is a first-person extraction shooter that takes place in a liminal space. Very interesting. Now, I myself am no stranger to liminal spaces, but this will be our first true foray into a liminal space on the channel. Now, in all honesty, I had recorded a 2-hour video of this. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was great. We had a good time. But that footage, well, the audio of that footage has been lost. I had a power surge, which corrupted our footage. But I record in both MKV format and MP4, because MKV is crash resistant. So therefore, all that footage still exists. And I plan on uploading that in like a clips format, you know, like a silent clip format. But without further ado, let's jump in. I have reset all the save progress, so we are starting from 0, and I'm going to try to touch on some of the subjects that I spoke of while recording the last part. There is a day in between this. Recording now and recording then, but we're going to send our data to the devs. Now, starting out here, the first thing that's noticeable, besides these 3 bizarre faces, is the color palette for me, and also the low poly faux PS1 feel to the game. The movement is incredible. Now, the physical movement needs a little bit of work. But it I don't know, it feels punchy, you know, and especially the combat. And over here you see we have a Glock. Now, we deliberated in the last part on what model Glock this was. You know, initially I always assumed 9, but it's got some punch, a little bit of wallop to it. So I figured with the 10+1 capacity, it might be a 45, which I believe is the Glock 20 and or 21 model. But I'm not sure. And you see we have those white night sights that Glock is known for, as well as the tack light. Can't beat that. But soaking in this environment here, you know, we are in what seems to be a sewer, right? Like runoff. But it doesn't quite make sense. You know, this basin here that we're in, the shape of it doesn't make sense. There's a room with fluorescent light bulbs above us. You can hear outside, I mean, the sun is shining, cars are going by, birds are chirping. It looks very much so normal outside. But we are surrounded by high walls. It gives credence to the idea that we're in somewhere we're not supposed to be. But all that aside, the game features a interesting reloading system, right? So if we wanted to, we could clear the magazine totally. Middle mouse button by default, right? So we could drop every round if we wanted to. The game focuses on weapon malfunctions and gunplay. Those are its core elements. Right? The liminal space aesthetic just came with the territory, which is really interesting. We'll touch on that shortly. But the gunplay is really fun and satisfying. And then we walk down this hallway into this dark room lit by fluorescent light bulbs to a floating microwave. Inside you see various eggs that have either X-eyed skull faces drawn on them or discomfort faces. And our environment switches as the microwave turns those eggs into plastic ducks, creating a black hole at our feet. And then there's only one thing left to do. and that is fall. Now, it takes us to a level screen, which in the last part we only got to the second level. There is quite a bit of progression, and you could play this game in your free time without worrying about progression. It's good as it's not time consuming, right? You can play a quick raid and jump out, and that's a lot of the appeal of this, was making an extraction shooter, which this is definitely an extraction shooter, but making one that doesn't require a life commitment. Any of you that have played Tarkov, like myself, know how much effort it takes to play Tarkov effectively. But enough on that. So you see, we are in an office space, but we are in a very non-traditional, non-Euclidean office space. And there is the microwave that will take us back out when we're ready to extract. Those do spawn in randomly. We do not know where they're going to be, and it is a hunt to find them. Now you see there's a distinct lack of personnel or other entities here. Remember those three faces from before, because they're going to be important here shortly. The name of the game is Explore. And don't get shot, because you are fragile. At the bottom you see our health bar. And we are significantly more fragile than you might expect. There is what seems to be a pretty realistic damage model. I'm actually surprised we haven't ran into any nefarious ne'er-do-wells yet. But we'll find them, trust me. It's probably going to jump scare us. And the door's locked. Strangely, still haven't ran into anybody. This is actually kind of anticlimactic. I was hoping to get into some business. Oh, okay, there's the... So, you see over here we have another appliance. There's our first gunfire we've heard. These microwaves take us in between the liminal space and our home hub area, right? But fridges offer us credits and data, which we use to buy things back at the hub world. But nothing comes for free, and you'll soon see that. Now we have... Alright, so there we go. We just dumped a mag into this guy, and we did put him in the dirt. He has lost his faceplate. That is how you know that you have killed your enemy. Their faceplate pops off. Red is considered the more aggressive and more elite version of these enemies. You have red, blue, yellow. Yellow being an agile, fast-moving shooter. There's one. And we dropped her pretty quickly. And then blue is your run-of-the-mill shooter. Now, the game plays like any number of Hollywood John Wick style firefights. They are quick, snappy engagements that require you to be in tune with your weapon system, which is really cool. It's really an awesome gameplay loop, because you go into this liminal space, which for the most part it is just repeating corridors and office storage, etc. But surprisingly, oh my god, made a rookie mistake and didn't chamber around. But surprisingly, there's a lot of life here, and these nondescript corridors give a lot of... There's a lot of room for us to make a story out of the gunfights that we encounter, right? Does that make sense? Like, each engagement is its own story. And opposed to Tarkov, for example, where, you know, every map here is also the same, but it doesn't feel the same, right? There's no... You might see the same areas, but you never run the same path twice. You know, whereas in something like Tarkov, as an extraction shooter, with very specific spawns, you run the same paths over and over again. This breaks up that monotony, making it quite a unique experience. And the focus really is on the gunplay. It's not about the loot, though that is going to come into play shortly. And you'll see what I'm talking about. We have to get back. We have to survive a raid before we get to do any of that stuff, though. A lot of this is listening and being mindful of where you're stepping, because they seem to spawn, they being these entities, they seem to spawn wherever they please, and they get tougher. There's a prime example of that. The individual we just shot at had a vest on. You can see he's got a rig. Well, we can't see him anymore. So, when you're fighting against armored opponents, especially if you have a pistol like we do, or, you know, a weapon of lower caliber, or something that you know is not going to penetrate their armor, which right now we 100% know that this Glock is not going to penetrate Kevlar, right? Doesn't matter if it's 9 or 45, it's just not how it works. We want to shoot in their unarmored areas. So, oh, there's a... Oh my god, okay. First jump scare, that's okay. Ooh, I don't like this guy. Okay, big blueberry baby has been eliminated. I don't know why they decided to make the blue head boss a runner enemy, but they did, and I have been one-shot by him. I don't know if that was a bug or not. You hear automatic rifle fire coming from somewhere up ahead. The enemies get more difficult the longer you stay in the zone. Doesn't matter what zone it is. They go through these waves, and it makes it more difficult. Like this enemy, for example. This is the yellow boss. You see they have a helmet on, and we're not going to be getting to it. Oh my god. Okay. Wow. They are quick. Okay. We're not going to be getting through that armor with this pistol. So what we're going to do is shoot at the legs and at the groin. Everyone knows leg meta from Tarkov. Well, the real meta is to shoot at the groin, right? And in some schools of thought, for CQB, you're taught to shoot at the groin in order to cause the assailant, whoever you're shooting at, to fall over, and then you'll follow up with shots to the noggin, or the upper torso, just dependent. And it's all very dependent on situation, environment, etc. But that's just a fun fact. We're gonna, you know, as much as we can, we'll relay, like, tactics to the game, for love of the game. Ooh, we had a jam. Failure to eject. But, you know, this is an exploration, and... Ooh. This is not a tactics channel. We're just having fun with it, right? Oh, there's another... Oh my god, it's a ticket. God, I can't believe that they would add something like that. It scares me every time. It's actually called the blueberry, and that doesn't make it any better. Somehow that makes it worse. It takes about 20 rounds. I never seem to get a perfect kill on that thing, so we're going to say it takes 20 rounds to put it down. Now we're getting into elite enemies. We've got so many elites everywhere. we're gonna have to skedaddle. But they're just everywhere, aren't they? My God. All right, we gotta find that toaster again. I mean that microwave oven. Excuse me. Yeah. So you find this appliance. Presumably you found it. I don't think anyone just had that laying around. You find it and you jump down the hole into a liminal space where there are various multicolored entities fighting for survival. Oh my God. Okay. Maybe not fighting for survival, but what was I trying to say? Where everyone's vying for a piece of the pie, locked in an eternal conflict. There's this really cool death screen when you die. As you see, we took Flechette to the face. We stayed there way too long. So when you die, you do get to retain some of the credits and data that you earned. Now we only get 1,200 here and 600. You only get 10%. But that's alright. We're going to jump back in to the world. We're going to do it all over again and have a bunch of fun doing it. Now, this is a ton of fun, and we need credits and data, etc. to upgrade our station back at home. Some of the upgrades are... there's like a shooting range. There's multiple different types of shooting ranges, actually, which I think is really awesome. They're like I don't know, they're very tactile, right? Instead of just paper targets like you see in Operator, which actually you might see some Operator on the channel coming up. But, you know, in Operator, they have 2 kill houses, and a paper range, and those are really cool, but they don't have any, like, I mean, with it being a sandbox the way it is, you know, it seems strange for them not to have a more, like a kill house that has actual targets in it. Does that make sense? Actual dummies, or, you know, something along the lines of, realistic targets. I'll have to show you what I'm talking about when we unlock that, because right now I don't think I'm making any sense. But what I am going to make sense about is talking about liminal spaces as the backdrop for gunplay and why I think it works. We saw the microwave back there. Sorry, I had to lock in momentarily. 2 jams is crazy. These guys are just as deadly as their armored counterparts. No doubt about it. I've been killed by single red guy multiple times. Oh my God. I have not had this many jams. This is kind of surprising. You see in the bottom right-hand corner, we have a heat monitor, kind of like you do in Synthetic. If you guys have played that, if you haven't, please go pick up and play Synthetic 1. You can run it on a freaking potato, no problem. There are very little hardware requirements. It is a bunch of fun, and there is still a very, very active community. All that praise aside, if it tells you anything, Seth made a video on it. You know, that's Seth. So, liminal spaces as a backdrop for gunfights. Gunfights, you know, the environment is just as important. Oh my God. Okay. Hey, I made a mistake. We took one to the noggin. Let us get right back in there. Liminal spaces work because they're a blank canvas for gunfights. We have yet to see, at least I've yet to see, a full game besides this that has featured a liminal space as its primary location. Now, that's not to say that there haven't been games that have attempted a liminal space. Trepang 2 was one of those games that came out and had a level featuring the back rooms. You know, the yellow carpeted back rooms. But there was a little, you know, flavor added to it, as you'd expect. Oh man. As you'd expect, because the standard back rooms, the 93 million square miles of carpet and, you know, the humdum of fluorescent light bulbs. Though I feel like that would make a pretty cool backdrop, it doesn't have a lot of character. Trepang 2 was all about movement and verticality, so it was like an art exhibit in some ways. It also had like construction in progress, etc. It was really cool. There was also a mini boss, which, if you guys remember games... Oh man, okay, we're sucking. If you guys remember Mercenary Playground of Destruction, then you remember the deck of 52, right? Similar thing that the United States military did in Iraq, which was 52 cards with actual people's faces on them, separated into suits for what they, you know, what field they worked in, whether it be like biological and chemical or finance, for example, you know, administrative, military. Everyone was separated into categories. Well, Trepang 2 did something similar to that, where under certain parameters, on certain missions, you could run into bosses, these mini bosses, and they would only spawn on certain difficulties, etc. It was a blast taking out that list. I don't think I'm ever going to play Trepang on the channel. I have played it several times over, and unfortunately, what that means is, you know, nothing in it is going to surprise me, so my reaction might not be too genuine. Nonetheless, at Site 83, your character falls into the back rooms. Or they're transported there by the ghosts of... No, not the ghosts necessarily, but some type of entity that is living within this... living within this secret research site. That game was like SCP Foundation on steroids. But you were the SCP. You know, you were like a playable SCP line lineage super soldier. It was really, really cool. I don't want to insult your intelligence. I'm sure you all know what Trepang is. But it was based on Fear, and Fear kind of featured environments like this. So did Condemn 2, but I'm getting off track. Liminal spaces as backdrops. This is the first game... Okay, that sucks. I'm so sorry. Man, well, I promise you we'll get out of one of these. Don't you worry. But a liminal space is the backdrop. It's a plain backdrop for firefights. And again, like I said with this game, you know, you're trying to create... Like, each engagement is creating its own story. Every raid's different, not because of, like, what you encounter, which it is, too. I mean, you encounter different things here. You could encounter different enemies or entities. But it's really about the, you know, the stories you tell in these fights, these firefights. And, you know, making... you, the character, have to manage your weapon malfunctions, which a lot of games do nowadays. But, you know, where it's such a big part of the gameplay, like every engagement, you know, you're most likely going to get some type of malfunction. I think that's another reason they made the magazine size smaller. So you have to, you know, reloading is actively part of the game. Much like Synthetic was, which that game was initially a bolt-action rifle simulator, which is very cool. But I think liminal spaces are often, unfortunately, the genre, the backrooms genre in general, liminal spaces, they get oversaturated. And the reason being is because something gets popular, something takes off. And in the Backrooms case, it's because of the Kane Pixel series, which is incredible. I have no animosity towards it. I have no animosity towards the 500 Backrooms games you can find on Steam at any given time. But it does, make you take a step back. But with the oversaturation of the liminal space Backrooms style games and genre, everyone's trying to make a cooperative experience where you're, running from entities. Everyone knows the static spaghetti monster or like the smiler. A lot of the fear that was the Backrooms was the unknown, the Lovecraftian themes. 93 million square miles is a ridiculous size. And that does define a size, but there's no way that you could explore the entirety of 93 million square miles, let alone begin to map it out. And it's randomly segmented. You spawn because you're clipping out of reality. You're spawning within, this is it a dimension? We don't know. We don't know what the hell it is. Anyways, so all that aside, sorry, we're in a little bit of a pickle. All that aside, you don't see shooters using this as a backdrop, which I find surprising, because I always thought with, if you do want to define entities or create entities that live within the Backrooms, I would love to see like a special operations unit fall into the Backrooms. I mean, if anyone can end up there, why not do something more in line with, people taking the fight to the Backrooms or, hunting the entities. I mean, you see, like, in the Kane Pixel series, science has become a big part of the Backrooms recently. Science and exploration, which is awesome. Absolutely awesome. And I have nothing but positive things to say about that. I think it's really cool. I think that specific idea is really cool. People would want to study it and see what they could harvest from it, especially for nefarious reasons. Governments, corporations, agencies, they all want a piece of this pie because it serves them. It's something they can monopolize or make money on. It's something they can use, like in the Kane Pixels series, they were trying to use it for infinite storage. They were planning out freaking office space, which is the most bureaucratic nonsense, but it's true. Alright, so we're getting the armored enemies. You can put several rounds in their chest. It's not going to kill them, but it'll definitely hurt them. And if we can in-cap them, then that opens them up to lethal precision fire, right? So if we beat them with volume of fire, then we put precision shots on them. I'll try to get you an example of this. There's one. Turn off our tack light. I think we just killed him. Yeah, we did. Alright, we are gonna try to get out of here now. I think we've killed plenty. I think there's a blueberry. Yeah, there's a blueberry. I really don't like that enemy, but, unfortunately you didn't get to see my genuine reaction yesterday or the day prior when I was ambushed by the blueberry man. Horrific. That was a horrific experience. But with there being, a scientific interest in the Backrooms and whatnot, you would have security elements. I mean, my God, the Mosaic expedition into Antarctica, the most recent Mosaic expedition, there are paid contractors, right? I'm unsure of what company they work through, but they were paid to watch or observe the research team and make sure that polar bears didn't interfere with said research. Antarctic expedition, mind you. So you mean to tell me that individuals going into the backrooms, the great unknown, 93 million square plus miles, we don't even know that number is, that is the first number ever associated. There are so many schools of thought now related to liminal spaces and the backrooms. It could be anything, honest to God. I like to think of it as infinite. I like to think of it as a never-ending space. Oh, we're hot and a little bothered there. Very bad, very bad. Alright, let's hit this and get out of here. I don't remember where the exit is. I think it's over on the fringes. I think it's in... Yeah, we want to avoid the boss guys. Let's try to stick to the edges here. And close doors behind us. Oh yeah, but my God, you know, you're sending humans. You know, and a lot of people say, yeah, humans are expendable, and especially in media like that. Yeah, okay, perhaps one. Maybe you send one research team in, but you're not. You know, companies are. I don't know if any of you are, you know, former military or worked in a government research setting or like a lab setting, but I'll tell you what, the military and the government as a whole are the most bureaucratic. That is the most bureaucratic you can get. There is a sea of red tape for every action or inaction taken, right? There's a hand receipt for everything. Every piece of property is accountable to somebody, right? And it's because, yeah, this entity might have a $10 billion defense budget or, you know, whatever it happens to be. But someone has to foot the bill for that, right? So don't think that they're not squeezing every dime that they can out of the little man. Does that make sense? So when you look at backrooms media and stuff, I would love to see like who was it? Evan Royalty, who did the SCP Dollhouse series. Well, it wasn't the Dollhouse series, but the MTF Mobile Task Force series. I would love to see more like special operations or security teams stuck in the backrooms because it just makes sense, right? You're not sending an individual into the unknown without them having a detail that, you know, should be able to, you know, solve any problem that arises because they're carrying hundreds of thousands of dollars of gear, you know, to research this area. You would see the size of the armory that would be at the gate to the backrooms. And I'm speaking purely on the Kane Pixel series. The amount of weapons and munitions that would be in a 1 square mile radius of that gate would blow your mind. If you think Fort Knox has insane security, you know, or I can't even jokingly say an art museum right now, but if you think Fort Knox has insane security, you have no idea. Think of like Area 51 times 100. But we have successfully completed a run in Hull. And that's the name of the game. You can just continue to restart. So right here, we're going to spend 1,000 credits and 1,500 data to build. We're going to sit back and watch it happen. That's a very nice sound. And now we have a nice staircase and this fan, this oscillating fan here. And we can take these stairs up. I really love the low poly aesthetic. I know a lot of people don't. I know it's kind of overdone. But man, I sure do love a faux PS1 game. And then we have this freaky nurse up here in the waiting room. I guess it's like a doctor's office up here. I don't like it. But she gives us tasks. So, face collector, part 1, 2, and 3. Collect 5, 5, and 5 of blue, yellow, and red faces. And we'll accept those. They become work in progresses. And then we just head back, do it again. Every time we enter and exit the space, I'm going to call it just continue to call it the space, the liminal space, whatever, the office, the realm. Every time we enter, there is new stuff for us to build here. So you can't just go in once and build everything. You have to continue to play the game to quote-unquote progress it. Yeah, this game, it has charm. The weapons feel punchy. The game is loud and tense. You know, it's not as tense as Vostok, I'll give it that. But it, you know, for what it is, for trying to make a short experience where, you know, you can play this after work or after school, whatever it is, and not have to worry about your progress. Like, the worst setback is you lose some money, you know, some fake money. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. It's definitely a nice break from the hardcore extraction shooters, because that genre is unfortunately oversaturated with, you know, try-hard, permadeath, you know, sweaty nonsense, and that's not for everybody. You know, if that's your cup of tea, that's your cup of tea. And I know it scratches an itch that very few other things can, but that's not everybody's cup of tea. My God. No, I'll be a monkey's uncle before I die to a blue man. That sounded bad, but it really wasn't. Oh, I hear footsteps behind us. Very good, very good. See, I like the raids when we get in here and we get some quick gunfights out of the way early. I used to feel that way about Tarkov too. You know, when you play a extraction shooter, if you go the entire raid without seeing somebody, and then, you know, now I'm not saying like a scav, like running into a scav or anything is going to throw you off, but if I go a whole raid without seeing an enemy or without getting my feet wet, and then all of a sudden, you know, I run into Tagilla, I'm probably not going to do as well, especially earlier on in my, you know, in my quote-unquote Tarkov career. So with this, it's the same way. Like, if you, like our first raid where we ran around for a considerable amount of time, seeing nobody, you know, and then we started getting into fights, we were all over the place, you know, all messed up. We're getting the yellows. Alright, so when you're maneuvering on a target, pushing worked for us there. Normally you'd want to try to flank and maneuver another way, unless you can get up a good volley of fire and get your volume of fire up. Gunfights are won by overwhelming the enemy with fire. It's not really about how... I mean, yeah, of course, accuracy is important. Putting accurate shots on target is important. But gunfights are won because you shot more and maneuvered effectively on your enemy, right? That makes sense. So, like here, we're not going to press these guys. Except he is giving us... There's someone behind us now. There is someone... Yes, okay. We did kill them. We need that health. Okay. We have a red here. We picked up another yellow. Now we're going to run down this hall and pick up these 2 reds, and we're going to get... That's going to put us really close to accomplishing our goal in the first go, which is great. There's the yellow here. I tried to kill the yellow. The yellows are arguably more dangerous than the reds because they'll maneuver on you. They'll run up and, you know, put 5 in your chest. The reds, they shoot more accurately and they tend to take more rounds, it seems. Now, when you dump 10 rounds into their chest, it doesn't really matter, especially within 5 meters, but, you know, it seems like yellow and red are the more dangerous of the entities, although they are all dangerous in their own way. It is... Okay, we're going to try to stick to this area, because we have an exit. I killed another red, I believe. Yes, another red down. Very good. I hear a blue, I think. Not the blueberry. Very bad. Very bad. Very bad. Very bad. God, it triggers a panic response in me. Getting chased is something all humans, I feel like, have like an... There's like a... Oh, man. Alright. Well, live or die. See, we got killed by a normal blue. Look at us, we had our hands up and everything. Alright, so back at it again. We do not lose our progress in the quest line. So, like, the masks that we are collecting right now, we still have all those masks that we had previously collected. They don't disappear, which is quite the blessing. So we're going to continue running around, looting, shooting, collecting data, and trying to knock out this mask quest real quick. I'd like for us to be done by the time stage 4 comes around, because that seems to be when the blueberries and some of the bosses pop up. I can deal with the guys with Kevlar on. I can even deal with, you know, a couple long guns, but I can't deal with multiple groups. Not that I can't, it's I don't want to deal with multiple groups with armor while we have this Glock. It's unrealistic for us to assume that we can defeat hordes of armored enemies. Oh, good. Okay, we have found the exit. Now, remembering where the exit is going to be very important. But I started playing this. Like I said, I recorded 2 hours. I was having so much fun playing this game. I still am, don't get me wrong. This is an absolute blast. And it's a bargain. It really is. This is, I believe it's sub $10. I'm almost 100% positive it's under $10. I'll put it in the description like I do everything else. Oh, man. Getting smoked. Getting smoked. We're just getting bad luck. Let's go back home. And, let's go back home and see what we can do. I want to run upstairs before we spend money or spend our credits. Yeah, perfect. Alright, so we got a key as well as 3,000 credits. We got the key to the office. We're going to upgrade this, and we can't do that yet. How much do we need? We need a ton more data. So we're going to go back. You saw we got a key there. And what that key did is gave us something very special. It gave us access to the locked part of the office, and contained within there is something very creepy. I can't wait to get over there with you guys. I think it's over here. Now the map is the same That makes no difference to me. I can't tell. Oh, look at this. Finding it right off the bat. So in here, you see the paper cluttering the floor, scattered about, the ceiling pitch black, and the light emanating from outside, though there is no outside. It's just a blank white surface. Yeah, it doesn't get much more liminal than this. And you hear that? Nothing. It's almost like the sound is muffled and eaten. But there's a computer. Lone desk and a computer. It's almost like someone's been waiting for us. Press key. Run exe with F. Alright. We got the blue disc. I don't think we should have done that. Oh, we've begun hallucinating. So now our game, thankfully we did this early, and the enemies aren't so tricky. But doing this early also means that the entire time that we are stuck here in the back rooms, in the office back rooms, we're going to be hallucinating. We have the Hat Man as our spotter once again, which I have joked in Vostok because I was eating so much cold medicine to keep my health up that the Hat Man was our spotter. But interacting with that mysterious computer makes it a reality here, an uncomfortable and present reality that we're just going to have to deal with. They have opened our third eye. Oh. Perhaps it's related to... Huh, I didn't know that. Oh no, I'm still having hallucinations. I was going to say, if it's just related to the computer, that's nuts. I'd be shooting them out of the sky more. Which it does kind of seem to be related to them. Anyways. They have opened our third eye. They are brainwashing us through these television sets. I wonder what the meaning is behind all of this. God. Come on, man. Just want to find the exit. Just want to find the exit. Yeah, okay, so in the last part, I had no idea that the floating television / computers were causing our hallucinations. So, now we know. Now we know, and when we see them, we shoot them, right? I hear it. Where is it? There it is. God bless. It's creepy. That's a interesting mechanic. We've seen behind the veil, and the eye in the sky is watching us. We're being tracked by the grid, my dear friends. We're being tracked by the grid. Abraxas has come. Abraxas has come. A new age is being ushered in. Man, these are really disorienting. We gotta... I see individuals walking. They're coming out of a feminine, like, idol's forehead. It's very interesting. I wonder if that entity that we're seeing is an entity, or if we're connected to her in some way, or it in some way. I wonder if it's like the manifestation. Oh, man. God. Okay. Come on. Ah, Jesus. Okay. Makes me wonder if it's a manifestation of like the microwaves or, you know, the appliances that we're running into, because they seem to have a deeper meaning to the story, right? Like, you know, appliances are... God, I can't shoot for nothing. Let's take a knee, turn off our tack light, and crouch around the corner. And they heard the gunfight and came running. Sometimes you gotta slow down and take your shots. Take your shots methodically. Unfortunately, oftentimes you don't have that luxury. But with these mag sizes, man, we really gotta pick and choose our shots. They are... oh, man. The recoil is pretty insane, too. Not a complaint, just a statement. If you are trying to shoot something at distance, you better aim at the groin, because you're gonna hit chest level. And then the next one, you're gonna send over top of their head. Alright, now, we have... there it is. Thank God. Okay. Oh, hello, Blueberry. Alright, we're gonna drop back. Oh, man, there's Tactical Timmy. Okay, let's loop around the bathroom and we'll go out. Go out in the other direction. Hopefully this area is relatively safe. Yeah, this will be fine here. Jesus, okay, they're on our butt, man. That's not good. Are they following us too? Yeah, they totally were. Again, when you're fighting an up armor target, you need to be shooting at those soft, meaty bits. Use the environment to your advantage. Miyamoto Musashi was known for using the environment to his advantage. He was a famous jeweler, also a famous ronin in feudal Japan. I don't have a perfect history of Miyamoto Musashi. I apologize if that's not like a perfect summary. I know when people are passionate about things, they tend to, you know, be more critical of people talking about their passions. I understand. Man, look at us. Alright. Doing alright. Doing alright. We got a blue disc. So we're going to take that home, and that's going to allow us to unlock something special. I can't wait to show you guys. We're also going to check this out. Ooh. How much do we have? 15,000 there. We still can't build that. Watch this. Alright, we'll start with our back turned. Nice. 2.4, that's not bad. Let's try again. Nice. 2.3, a little better every time. A little better every time. Now, man, I missed that first one. That's alright, I'll try again. So, I'm doing a Mozambique drill to the best of my ability, in both. The problem is the recoil is so crazy, I can't get a good Mozambique quickly, so we're definitely going for speed. But there, you see, we dropped 6 rounds in less than 2 seconds, which is good. Try that on the far target. Nice, less than 2 on the far target, 1.9. I'm going to try that one again. This is called a build drill. Drop 5 rounds as quickly as possible. And try to get them tight together. Mozambique drill is 2 to the body, boom, boom, 1 to the head. We can't upgrade any of these. Let's see if we can try it. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, see, you can see the recoil pattern on the Glock starting down here. It jumps quite a lot, but anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. The Mozambique drill is 2 to the body, 1 to the head. Boom, boom, boom. It's also called the failure drill, which is short for failure to stop. This is the ideal shooting scenario that you want to get into, or like the ideal shooting rhythm you want to get into, especially for CQB. But the problem with drills like this, they are fantastic for paper. They're great for getting rounds off, right, and helping you, like, I don't know, practice precision shooting. But when it comes to active shooting, you know, like we're doing out there, in a real scenario, you know, those freaking perfect shots don't happen. You're going to shoot till they drop, which you've seen us do. So, anyways, we come back, and we can get our reward, Face Collector Part 2, which gives us 4,500 credits, and then we can accept these other tasks, Memory Bank Part 2, 1, 2, and 3. We have to go back to the office and recover hard drives, USB sticks, and these floppy disks, right? But first, using our disk that we found with the key, we can unlock a new weapon. And we unlocked an AR. Very cool. Very cool. So you see here, hold on. Yes, here it is. The AR. Now it only holds 10 rounds. It's very much so the sporting model, but that's alright. That's alright, because this punch is hard. I'm gonna do 3 and 3 and then we'll get out of here. Alright. A little bit more. But we got a good C-clamp. Still got our tack light. Recoil is not too bad. We can dump a bunch of rounds quickly. Let's go back and play with our new toy. Very good. I love that you have unlimited ammo. It seems like the only thing that I wish to see with Hull, it'd be cool if this was a full, like if they continue to expand on this. Oh, yes. So finding these hard drives, USB sticks, and everything, they're just out and about in the map now. So we have to be a little bit more cautious when we're running through. But something I'd like to see in Hull is either attachments for the weapons. I think it'd be really cool to run a suppressed AR, for example, or a suppressed pistol. I don't know if that's to come. I don't know if armor or any, you know, any gear or anything like that is coming to Hull. I have absolutely no idea. But what I do know... Ooh, hold on. Can we do this again? I wonder. I think that's... Maybe we get another disc. I don't know. But what I would like to see is the ability to pick up health or carry health like an IFAK. Yeah, it's just the blue disc. Okay. I would love to have an IFAK so we can heal on the fly. Is that going to happen? I don't think so, but we'll see. Anything's possible, right? Alright. Now, the Hat Man is by our side once more. We have called him into action. He fills our body with bloodlust, with rage, that we have concentrated and filed down into a sharp precision instrument, a scalpel, if you will. Yes, yes, yes. Well, he is around once more. The numbers, Mason. What do they mean? Man, woo, competition shooter, man. We draw and we light you up. Now, you might think, why is the AR like why is this a very nice AR platform, but it only holds 10 rounds? I think the reason behind that, I don't know for certain. You know, there might be another one that we unlock later that's got some cool guy stuff on it or whatever. But I think the reason is to keep you engaged with the shooting mechanic, because if you had more rounds, right, would you be so focused? Good thing that wasn't an enemy. Good thing that was just a TV, because we would have been dead. What are these CDs? I think it's to keep you focused on the malfunction and reload mechanic, not the shooting mechanic. Pardon me. But nonetheless, it does seem to hit harder, and it is a lot of fun to play with. Now, in the last part, I did not unlock this until the second zone, which I'm not going to spoil. Now, I'm not going to pretend like I don't know it when we get there, but I'm not going to spoil it, you know? I hate that that footage got lost, man. I am so sorry. And it was seconds before the outro, too. Like, literal seconds. 5 more seconds, and it would have been, you know, everything would have been mixed by OBS, and we would have been on our way. But, hey, life doesn't always happen in onesies and twosies. Yeah. So, what else? What else did we talk about? Liminal spaces and gunfights, weapon mechanics, liminal spaces in general. I think liminal spaces are horrifying, and I think when you leave them be and let them be scary for the sake of being scary. Ooh, we got an apple there. I don't think we've seen that before. When you let them be scary and you don't show the monster, you don't have to show the monster to make a very scary experience or a scary story. You know, some of the best horror, in my opinion, cosmic horror is the most scary genre of horror. Now, like, there's stuff like religious horror that freaks me out, or, you know, specific nationalities horror, like Japanese horror. The concepts and the themes that we see are terrifying. To me specifically, you know, like The Grudge and Sadako from The Ring. Like, it gets my goat. But the unknown, cosmic horror, primal horror, which I just figured out I have an aversion to because of Vintage Story, which all primal horror is, you know, it's like, it's ancient cosmic horror, you know, not knowing what's around the corner, because you quite literally don't know. I'm talking about nothing right now, but Lovecraft, and Lovecraft would describe, you know, these scenes and these monsters and these environments, and you'd go, I mean, you could go an entire story without getting a good description of an area. You might not get a description of a specific area until, you know, several stories later, or the only description you get of the area is the, you know, this 1-2 sentence description that people fill in the blanks with, you know, and run wild. Oh, we're starting to get into elite territory. Yeah, that's this. But, anyways, when you play or think about media like this, what is it that's scary for you? What is it about the backrooms that freaks you out? Is it the vastness? Man. Is it the hopelessness? I think that, oh no, he's still up. Man, come on. It's getting tense here, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, we're going to turn on the funny switch. Oh, it jammed. Alright, that might be good for, like, panic situations. Yeah, definitely good for panic, but man, if that thing jams up on us, what are we gonna do, you know? Food for thought, definitely. Food for thought. Alright, well, we know where to exit. Let's go ahead and exit, and then we'll come back in, try to finish up this quest line, alright? Oh, man. Oh, even in Hull, we're not safe from extract campers. What an awful thing to be. Oh man, got to wave 4. I haven't been past. Excuse me there. I haven't been past wave 5. I have had some pretty long raids, but I've never got past wave 5. I don't know if turning in discs of the same color allow us. We're gonna save up for the big one and then pick up the small one. I don't know if turning in discs of the same color allow us to unlock. No, they do not. They do not allow us. Ooh, we did complete everything. Wow, look at us. Nice. New drink over here on the vending machine, a new map, and 4,500 data. So let's spend 2,000 credits to get a new drink. And you see our max health went up exponentially. That is phenomenal. Yeah, we can do it now. I have not done this, so this is new to me. Oh, wow, look at this. Awesome. Okay, so there is weapon customization. Ammo. Wow, okay. Magazine. Muzzle. Oh, okay. Alright. Very cool. Very cool. How about for you, AR? So, presumably, there's armor-piercing rounds, suppressors, all that stuff we were just talking about. How do we get... Interesting. Oh, it is 9x19. It's just the game wants us to malfunction. Very cool. Very cool. 10-round magazine. How do we get these attachments? I wonder. Flashlight. We can take the flashlight off. Very cool. Only have ball ammunition for that. Only have FMJ. Now, I have no idea if any of this is actually... if any of this actually exists in the game, but we'll see. We'll definitely see. Man, that is awesome. I was looking forward to that. I didn't know if it'd come in an update later or what. But since we have unlocked the second map, we are just over an hour here. I'm gonna go ahead and punch us out into the second area. Oh, I made a mistake. Hold on. Let's return home and accept some new tasks before we do any of this. A little clunky with the head bob. Alright, turn off the TV, require 10 tapes, and then blood bags. So we can only get the blood bags in the second area. We'll go to drainage system first. So I love that this game not only has the liminal aesthetic, but it also has dream logic, right? These locations are dreamy in and of themselves, like most liminal spaces are. But to boot, we are some random individual. You know, the player character is whoever you want it to be. We're not given a name or an occupation or anything, which is great. It's just us, you know, the general individual, whoever you are. And we're in a sewer with no exits, like no clear defined exits, first and foremost, right? And on top of there being no clear defined exits, we start, that we can tell that there's, like, we are starting in the real world, right? We're supposed to be in the real world. as evidenced by the noise we hear coming from up above. Civilization exists, life is going on as per usual. But we are below in this strange sewer system, following a hole created by a microwave filled with eggs. You know, it makes absolutely no sense. But I can see myself having a dream and being like, oh, the eggs represent X, Y, and Z. And, you know, absolutely having no hesitation to jump down the hole made by my sketchy egg toaster. I keep calling it a toaster. My sketchy egg microwave. You know? It doesn't have to make sense to be fluid. Chop them down, chop them down. Dead check. Moving right along. And like this, you know, I don't love this second map. It seems like there's evidence of activity with all the bonfires and stuff. There's some evidence of civilization. But again, we're underneath a blue sky, but we don't hear anything outside of the entities and ourselves fighting. There's no goal for the fighting. You know, we're not gaining anything. I mean, we're gaining superficial things, but there's no reason for us to be fighting other than to protect ourselves, right? And now we're taking tasks from another faceless entity within what is supposed to be, you know, the real world. It makes me seem like this is just one big dream. I don't know. It's really cool. I like it. Maybe it's not deep at all and I'm just attaching value to it. You know, that very well could be the case. But I'm having a lot of fun doing that, if that is the case. Ooh. Okay. Sorry, I had to get quiet there. We took contact from several different directions. We had to put him in the dirt. This is kind of this is kind of reminiscent of God, you know, with the aesthetic and everything, this feels and plays like something I would have rented from Blockbuster, or like a Movie Man or a Hollywood Video or whatever the heck you guys had growing up. I'm gonna use Blockbuster as the main example. This definitely seems like something I would have rented that was like tucked behind another game, and had like a scratched up case with a you know, the logo was peeling and the manual was frayed, and it came with a manual that had man, he got us good, but it came with a manual that had like all the entities listed and described. God, I used to live for stuff like that as a kid. Stuff like that was really, really important to me. My dad was a big game player, you know, from from the 80s onward. But he'd play, when he started playing computer games, I mean, as early as I could remember, he was playing computer games. He used to buy all the books that came with them, all the manuals that came along with them. So I'd read through these freaking manuals, which a lot of games used to come with manuals, and I don't feel like I need to clarify that, but, you know, just to clarify, a lot of games used to come with manuals, and then in like the 2010s you could buy standalone manuals, and a lot of times they would have like, I mean, heck, some of them had recipes in them. They would have bestiaries where you could, you know, learn about the game's lore and all the enemies, and, you know, it'd tell you descriptions on the weapons, and, you know, it was a lot of fun. He played one, can't remember what it was called. It was like Gangland? I believe it was Gangland. And I remember it came with a thick pocketbook that you could carry, or I say you could carry around. I sure did carry it around and read it because I loved all the, like, the enemy descriptions When I was younger, bestiaries were one of my absolute favorite aspects of games. You know, I was always more interested in the monsters and their design and stuff than I was anything else. I think that's pretty still very true today. Very, very true today. I have not changed a bit in that regard. I love character design. I love concept art. I could sit and look at it all day. Who's shooting at me? We're gonna try to maneuver on. No, we're not. I don't know how to get over there. This place is a maze. As if the office wasn't bad enough, now you add verticality to that space, and clutter and gray. Gray is so bad for your eyes, in my opinion, to like discern depth and distance and direction. It's just, it's a mess. Who was that we just put down? That looked like a VIP. You guys ever play, not GoldenEye, not that 007 game. 2x scope. Oh my god, we can find them off people. Okay. Okay, one thought at a time, one thought at a time. Place your bets, place your bets. Did you guys and gals ever play Agent Under Fire? I think that, or Agent on Fire. It wasn't Agent on Fire. Agent Under Fire, the 007 game on GameCube. I think it was on PlayStation 2 as well. That game had a like a hostage elimination mode, I think. Maybe that was GoldenEye. Oh, I don't remember. I wish I had better memory. But hey, look at us. Successful elimination. Who's this? This white-faced individual. Very cool. He was protected by some serious guys. Let's run home real quick. Let us run home. I'm gonna play. I think I'm gonna do one more raid with you folks. We do have a 2x scope now. After that. Oh, we have to buy it for data. Okay. Alright, everything is quid pro quo, right? Something for something. So, let us go back. We'll go run to the office and try to knock out our quest down there real quick. Buy the 2x scope and then we'll test it out. If nothing else, we'll just load up on freaking data. I hear buzzing, which means there's an appliance nearby. Oh! Fun thing that actually directly affects all of you, to an extent. Our name has changed. This is most likely the first video you've seen so far of us as Observer Monk. And I changed it. I made a post about it, but I don't expect anybody to like be keeping up with stuff like that. So if you didn't see that post, which I'm assuming most people don't, but if you didn't see it, we changed the name to kind of fall in line more with like a warrior poet or like a soldier diplomat kind of vibe. It's not that being brandable, not like I really care about that, but I also don't want to oversaturate the observer. Like, you know, there is already the Observer on YouTube, right? And Project Observer was working just fine, but we're not like right now. I feel like Project Observer denotes that, you know, there's a game behind us. Does that make sense? Like there's like a product, you know, and that's not what we're about. We are a commentary channel and an exploration channel, and we're gonna get in to these weird and wacky worlds. I'm hoping to get to carve out a niche. Right now I'm playing some games that I like some games that I know kind of fit with that theme, and I'm just waiting for that niche to stick. Like, what exactly are we? You know, I'd love to play horror games and also play these weird shooters, like out-of-the-box shooters, but sometimes I think I just want to play Operator, you know, and run around and show you guys different builds and talk about cats, you know? I don't know. We'll figure it out. We've yet to totally find our place in the world, which is okay. That's part of this process. And like all of you know, I initially started, and you could tell with the, oh well, we could see our whole body. That was strange. When we started the channel, it was very stalker themed, right? And I want to continue that because Stalker is one of my major driving inspirations for all facets of my life. But you know, I don't let that dictate everything I do. You know, it's not like just because Stalker is my big inspiration does not mean it is everything I am. And I like having Observer in the title because to me, what that means, what is this guy? What an interesting enemy. They've definitely got a different character model, but they make almost like a ghostly whispering gurgling sound. Very freaky, very freaky. Ooh, suppressor. Nice, thank God. Yeah, that's a cool enemy. But the whole Observer mythos is when I was writing, or I'm still writing the Stalker project, the Stalker book I've told you guys about in some of the past episodes. You know, I take stalking, you know, being a stalker, being a loner within the zone, from an observational standpoint. You know, one thing I do in my free time, every once in a while, I have the equipment to do so, but it's, you know, kind of taken a back seat. I ghost hunt. I have a good friend that is also interested in ghost hunting, and you know, we'll go out with an Ovulus and a PVS-7 spirit box, or what is it, PBF-7 spirit box, as well as recorders and an EMF detector, you know, and take readings and take it from a scientific perspective and just see what we can catch at purportedly haunted locations. Now, we have had, surprisingly, really great luck. And maybe I'll share that on the channel someday, but, you know, it's definitely not, like, my main shtick whatsoever. But I do like ghost hunting, and that's another fun fact about me. That is one of my hobbies. But I always told him, you know, when it comes to doing this stuff, like, I take it from a SOG perspective, right? Studies and Observations group. And it's cool because SOG, being what it was, MACV-SOG, Military Assistance Command, Vietnam Studies and Observations Group, being a joint CIA Special Operations program during Vietnam. But it had such a cool freaking name, you know? Like, I didn't want to take everything from a military perspective, because I feel like I don't know, there's so much more that can be described if you, how do I say what I'm trying to say? If this was just purely a military channel, like a military theme channel, I would get bored. I would run out of stuff to talk about, you know, because those are secondary interests, you know, like, I'm definitely going to be playing shooters and talking about different tactics and stuff, but it's not the main point of the channel, right? The main point of the channel is the spooky, the unknown, these worlds affected by phenomena we can't understand. And our goal And the mythos it's crazy when I say some of this stuff out loud. I feel like a freaking surrealist painting. Like I feel like I'm myself watching a copy of myself talking to myself, you know. But we're an observer. We take things from a scientific perspective, like, and we're not here to influence these worlds necessarily. Like, we might be a participant in the world, but we're not trying to change the world, you know? Like, I'll use a Stalker example from the games. We're not a duty, we're not a freedom, you know? We don't have a agenda. We don't have a political agenda, or we don't serve a flag or a government or none of that, right? We are purely here as a neutral party, much like a mercenary. So the whole observer monk thing, I was going to change the name itself to, oh, a compensator, very good. I was going to change the name to Merc Monk, like, again, aligning with, like, warrior, poet, soldier, diplomat themes. But I decided against it because I wanted to keep Observer in the title, not only for the familiarity, but as a nod to what started all this in the first place. I would have felt pretty awful if I took Observer out totally. So we're not Merc Monk, but we can always have a secondary name, you know. There's no rules here. There's no rules. We can be whoever we want to be. Be whoever you want to be. Do whatever you want to do. I'm an astronaut, and you can't tell me otherwise, you know? So, thank you for listening to me talk your head off about nonsense. We killed 2 of the ghost people, which we didn't see, or I didn't see in the last part, and that's because we didn't have the credits or the data to buy the weapon upgrade station. So, we have quite a bunch of cash and data. We're going to take it home, and we're going to buy some weapon upgrades and see what we can see. Let's go to the AR. The muzzle devices for our pistol. Alright, that's only $3,000. Oh. Ah, yes, okay. Oh, and of course it has a whiteboard drawing. So, kill the Pac-Man ghost, and he'll give you a blueprint, and then you pay data, and you get device. Very cool. We're going to put a suppressor on our Glock, and then we're going to put a 2x optic on our rifle platform here. Look at that. Suppressor reduces the loudness. Ah, we're going to jam more, but we have less recoil, and the damage goes down. So perhaps we'll only do that there. This looks like it's got like a kind of an ACOG style. Oh, it's got an ACOG style body to it, but it is, wow. So the scope is, we can see through the scope, which is very interesting. There's no parallax whatsoever. Look at that. It's not totally accurate either. Hold on. Alright, enough messing around. Let's see what we can do. You know, honestly, the optic is pretty great, not gonna lie. I sure do like that. And yeah, we're definitely gonna be steaming some people with this. Oh my god, the weapons just feel so good. Hey, devs, team, you guys are rocking it. I love this. I love this experience. My god, I'm gonna keep playing this. I honestly, when I put this down, I didn't know whether or not we were gonna do a one-off or not, because I've got so many series in the works. But I have a definite schedule written out for upload and also for my recording and editing days and whatnot. So what I'm going to try to do is finish up some of these series. It's going to be like early January, we're going to have some slots opening up, and in about a week or two, I think in a week, we're going to have a new slot opening up, and that's going to let us start putting in some other stuff. I cannot wait. I've decided to start doing, like, I really love doing series, and some of these series are, like, sporadic and open-ended, Vostok being one of them, where, like, half of episode 3, the Hatman episode, is canon to episode 4, whereas the first 2 episodes and half of episode 3, or the first half of episode 3, aren't canon to anything. You know, they're totally separate. So it was like a playtest for me, and then I, you know, kind of got more serious about it, and I mean, I loved it from the start, but this kind of worked the same way. Like, at first, this was just a playtest. I was going to play a one and done, but I'm loving it so much. I might upload it like Vintage Story. For those of you that know, I didn't title that, but I did make a playlist for it. So I think that's going to come out in a series. It's just not going to be a series in sequential order. You know, you can watch it however you want, out of order. Doesn't matter. But yeah, devs, you guys are doing God's work here. This is awesome. The weapons feel punchy. The sound design's cool. You know, it's a simple experience that has a little bit more depth than I expected. It plays almost... Do you guys remember Sierra 7? There's no way I'm the only one that remembers that. That Flash game on Newgrounds from forever ago. By the way, big shout out to Newgrounds. Without it, I don't know who I'd be today. Without, like, Madness. Some of those series. Specifically Madness and Intruder. Because those were definitely my interests when I was in my Newgrounds era. Yeah, shout out to Newgrounds. Big shout out. Anyways, this game looks like Sierra 7 did. And I'm pretty sure that ended up getting a full release. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. But we're going to restart this here. If this was the same creator, that'd be insane. Because if it was, man, I've been playing your stuff for my entire life. My entire conscious life. But so we got what they describe as an assault optic on our weapon system here. And it's pretty grand. It is pretty grand. I love a nice medium range fighting optic. I sure do. Now, for engagements in here, I would have much rather had... Oh my god, okay. We gotta make sure we're killing them, man. We gotta put the rounds in them. Sorry, we gotta get quiet here. Oh! Nice. Yeah, for a... the elevator's broken. I'd much rather have like an EOTech or just a red dot. Any type of collimator would be preferable to an assault scope, as they're calling it. 4 times optic. But I'm not going to complain too much. Oh, we got more parts. Man, we are smoking these ghost dudes. I wonder what their deal is. Like, what's the story behind them? Oh, and I forgot about this. Ah, yeah. Did someone call John Wick? Oh my god, the recoil is so mitigated. Oh, it's like a laser beam, dude. Look at that. Oh yeah, did someone call John Wick? Hello? John Wick who? Baba Yaga who? It's me. I'm him. I'm literally him. Nah, I'd rather be... If I had to be him anything, I'd rather be Ryan Gosling in Drive. Unironically, my favorite movie. I don't care what you have to say about that. You can't change me. Oh my god. Top 3 favorite movies. Off the top of my head. Right now, gun to my head. Drive, number 1. Man on Fire, number 2. And then Annihilation, number 3. Now, Annihilation is a cool movie. We actually, my wife and I actually watched it last night. Oh, hello. Ah, I think he shot himself. Did you see him flail there? Alright, there's a good example of what I was talking about in the beginning, where you have an armored target, right? So, if given the opportunity... Oh, okay. We're going to do it here. Watch. Shoot. We got a transition. Switching to your pistol is always faster than reloading. Alright. Shoot in the groin. Shoot in the groin. Cause your enemy to double over. We're going to do it here. Right? And take his fragile state to shoot him in a vital area, such as the noggin or the neck. In our case, we did get a shot off on his head, which was very risky because he stood back up. But that is just an AI problem, like a model problem. There's not much we can do about that. I think we collected all the VHS. Suppose we could start heading towards the exit here. Ooh, someone just got smoked. Big time. I feel like there's a... Yeah, we're definitely getting into the boss territory. You see that? A round bounced right off of their head. So, when the enemy is armored in the chest and head, and you might be able to get a shot off on the neck. I have never got one here in this game, but perhaps it is possible. We are going to shoot at the groin and at the legs. Now, we don't have Luger CCI, but we don't need it. We don't need it. It's not even a real round. As cool as Tarkov makes that seem, for all of you that thought that was real, I hate to burst your bubble, but that is not. It is not. The only blue round that has ever existed in that capacity that I'm aware of were the snake tips. There were 22 caliber snake tips, as well as a tester, I believe it was a tester round from the 80s. I don't know the story behind that. Wish I did. Maybe I should, know that before I talk about it. Alright, so we're gonna just hang out back here and take pop shots until they all die and we can head out. I'm pretty sure our destination is past them on the left-hand side. Right now you see us, we're here in level 5. Oh, they are pushing. Okay. Now it's time to transition. That's bad. That's real bad. Oh, man. Okay, there's a bunch of yellow bosses. Okay. Now we have to, make like Sebastian Castellanos and use our wits. Open sesame. I don't think we need this TV. I'm gonna... Jesus. Okay. Hold on. Shoot it with the suppressed Glock, right? I think those were in his meat. I don't think those were hitting armor. I don't think. I don't know. See, we do damage when we strike them in the head, but it's not lethal damage, so what's the point, you know? We know we can kill them if we're hitting them in those soft spots. Man, we are kind of stuck. I think we killed him. I'm gonna dump another mag just in case. Surprisingly tense for what it is, in the best way possible. This is just a strange, lovable game with a very strange premise. Hey, stay down, dude. Oh my god, you don't want to do this. You don't want to do this, Blueberry. Oh my god. We had such a good run. Whatever. I got killed by a blue-faced elite. That's fine. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. We killed 32. Hey, we did headshot a boss there. Very good. Well, let's go home, dump our stuff off, and you guys get an almost 2-minute video on the most ridiculous extraction shooter I've ever played. Also the funnest, bar none. Starting off like this. What do we get? A new drink. Really? Awesome. And we'll take that. Wow, big money, big money. What did we get? Regenerate HP. Ah, yes. We're going to spend our money on these for sure. I want to be an unstoppable killing machine. We have the money, might as well spend it, right? Yeah, look at us. Alright, good job. Very good. That's why you gotta get that bread, man. Gotta get that money. Nice, 10K. We need 8K. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to Hole, the strangest, most lovable, funnest extraction shooter on the market today. There's no pay to win. There's no nonsense. There's no paywalls. Just you in a low poly, liminal, dreamlike hell where appliances rule the world and you can work on your double Mozambique drill or your build drill in real time. The game will time you. We're gonna do one before we leave here. Man, that was awful. We're gonna do one more. We gotta leave you on a good one. Shooting high on far target. One more. Nice. Okay, that's much better. 2-2-2-2. Hey, synchronicity. Very good. Very good. All right, my dear friends. Thank you all for tuning in. If you like this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps us grow. It helps us grow. It helps me tremendously. It lets me know what is working and what is not. And another change is we have changed our upload schedule from 2 to 4. There was a post about that. Hopefully you guys saw that. If you didn't, I'm telling you now, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is 1600 for my jarheads out there. All right. You are all wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. I will see you in the next part. And remember to mind the gap, stalkers. Mind the gap. Have a good one.